Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Sudhir Encyclopedia. So it's a channel in which you will apprehend the thing in a very clear manner with example. So today I am going to teach you a subject on GST, and it's normally acts in revenue audit exam, SS exam, SAS exam, which is conducted by Indian Audit and Accounts Department. So first of all, you have to know the concept, and then it will become easy for you to apprehend the things, and you yourself clarify others what is the thing what you taught from here. Okay. So today I will teach you GST, a specific section in GST which is related to time of supply. Okay. So before going to the specific things, I just want to say one thing which is prerequisite to the thing which I will teach you today. So base of GST is supply. That is the base of GST, means whenever supply happens, then level of GST arise. Okay. So supply, receipt, supplier, recipient. The base of GST is supply, and there are three cornerstones of supply. One is time of supply, second is place of supply, third is value of supply. Means these three are the pillar of GST. Means these three determines the level of GST. One is time of supply, place of supply, and value of supply. So before going to the specific section, you just apprehend the things in a very short way. I will taught you a different section, but before that you have to know the things in a nutshell. Okay. So the specific section is time of supply on issue of voucher, which is under section 12 subsection 4. Okay. Time of supply on issue of voucher. So first of all, what is time of supply? It tells when, means when, at what point of time the liability to discharge GST arises. That determines by the concept time of supply. Time of supply determines the exact point in time when the tax liability arises. Means it tells at which point you will discharge the liability. Suppose it arises on today, but you have to discharge it while filing the monthly return. Suppose this month's supply, while filing the monthly return, GSTR 3B, which is the instrument, which is the return in which you discharge the liability. Okay, and in GSTR 1 you depict the outward supply. The time of supply determines the exact point in time when the tax liability arises. This tells the auditor or business which months GSTR 1, GSTR 3B the tax must be reported in. Suppose if today is 15th, I just give an example. Today is 15th January. That means you have to discharge the liability while filing GSTR 3B for the month of January, whose due date is subsequent month 20. That means you have to discharge the liability while filing the GSTR 3B return of this particular month. Okay. The time of supply means when the liability to discharge GST arises. Okay. Then place of supply. Second concept is place of supply. So place of supply means two things in GST. One thing is interstate supply, another thing is intrastate supply. Okay. The interstate means when the transaction is between two states, it is called interstates. At that cases, IGST will be levied, and when the transaction is within the state, that is called intrastates. In case of intrastates, CGST and SGST will be levied. Okay. So place of supply determined where, means whether it is IGST or CGST and SGST. Place of supply is a legal fiction that determines which state get the tax revenue This is crucial because it detects whether the supplier must charge CGST plus SGST interstate or IGST interstate. Okay. The place of supply means where. The concept is where. Then value of supply. How much? What is the quantity of tax you have to pay? Means there is a value on which tax will be paid. Unless and until you know the value, you can't discharge the liability. Suppose value, you don't know what is the value. You know tax rate is 18%. Suppose you know tax rate is 18%, but you don't know the value. So what is the tax to be paid? So there must be a value on which tax to be paid, and the value of supply tells us what is the amount of tax to be paid. Suppose value is 1000, rate of tax is 18%, then you will pay 18% of 1000. Okay. The value of supply determines the exact monetary amount upon which the GST percentage rate will be calculated. Means the value on which GST is calculated, which is called the taxable value. And what you paid, the GST is called tax. Taxable value plus the tax is invoice value. Okay. So value of supply determine what is the quantity, how much you pay. So that is the prerequisite of GST. The determination of time of supply, section 12 subsection 4. Section 12 subsection 4 tells at what point of time the GST is to be levied, and this section deals with in case of supply of voucher by the supplier, the time of supply will be. Means it tells the time of supply in case of voucher is issued by the supplier. Suppose you are purchasing a material. You are purchasing a material worth 10,000 rupees, and the shopkeeper means supplier, he issue a voucher to you. There are certain scheme by the shopkeeper, by the company, means only to entice the customer they give you gift voucher or any specified voucher. So when you purchase an article, the supplier gives you a voucher, and the section tells what is the time of supply when a voucher is issued by the supplier. There are two cases. Suppose you just think the voucher is specifically identified. Suppose the supplier gives you a voucher and it is specifically identified that which items you will you will purchase by that voucher. Means that is specific voucher. Means voucher is identified, means description of goods is identified from the voucher. The date of issue of voucher, if the supply is identifiable at a point when the specific item is described in the voucher, then the time of supply will be the date of issue of the voucher. Specific goods is determined in the voucher. Okay. Means at which places you will redeem it, for which item you will redeem it, that is specified in the voucher. Suppose you purchase some things, the seller gives you a voucher which clearly written that Domino's Pizza, rupees 500 voucher for Domino's Pizza. That means it is clearly identified that that voucher is only used for Domino's Pizza. The description is identified here, and when the description or specific item is identified in the voucher, the time of supply will be date of issue of the voucher. Description or specified item is identified, time of supply will be date of issue of voucher. If the description is not identified in the voucher, means the supplier gives you a voucher worth 5,000 and it retains, you will utilize, you will redeem it in any store for purchase of clothes or affair. That means you may buy for your kids, for you, for any kurta, dress, jeans, anything else. Means specific item is not described here. The specific item is not described means the date of time of supply will be the date of redemption of the voucher. Supply is not identifiable at the point. Means you can't identify which item you will purchase. Its worth is 5,000, but it is written that you can buy any clothes. It may be clothes for you, for your kid, for your family members. That means thing is not specified. But in case of specified Domino's pizza, it is identified. But in case of any clothes, it's not identified what you will purchase in the gift voucher. Okay. The simple thing is when the supply is identifiable at a point, date of issue of the voucher, time of supply. Once it is not identifiable at the point, date of redemption of the voucher. Just see an example where the specification is identified. A customer purchases an article and receives a voucher that can be redeemed only for pizza. That means here it is specified. It can be redeemed only for pizza. Since the goods service to be supplied are identified at the time of issue of the voucher, the time of supply under GST shall be the date of issue of the voucher. That means in the voucher it is specified that you will redeem it only for pizza. So the time of supply is date of issue of voucher. Very simple things. Identified, date of issue of voucher. Not identified, redemption of the voucher. Here it is specified pizza, then time of supply is date of issue of voucher. Okay. The second case is if a voucher is not identified when it is issued by the supplier. It means the supplier provides a voucher that does not clearly specify the item, service or a transaction detail needed to identify what it relates to. Times of supply is date of redemption of voucher. A Reliance gift voucher of 5,000 that can be redeemed for any clothing items. Suppose Reliance, you purchase some item from Reliance, it gives you a gift voucher worth 5,000 and redeemed for any clothing items. Means specification is not identified. Here the time of supply will be date of redemption of the voucher. Means you may purchase a jeans or shirt or kurta or dress for your kids, anything else. So time of supply is when you redeem the voucher. But if it is specified for pizza, then date of issue of the voucher. Identified, date of issue of the voucher. Not identified, redemption of the voucher. Very simple. Identified, date of issue of voucher. Not identified, redemption of the voucher. Okay. So you read it in a very clear manner and you apprehend the things. So when some of your friends ask you, so what is the concept, you clarify things, clearly tells him that is the case when voucher, when specification is identified, when in the voucher you identified where it will be redeemed or specific goods for which it will be redeemed, then date of issue of the voucher, not identified, redemption of the voucher. Okay. So this is a specific case. But in GST, if you read supply, then time of supply, place of supply, value of supply, there are different items, different section. So that will take nearly, I think for supply it will take 1.5 hours, and 3 pillars of supply, time, value and place, it will also take 2 to 3 classes of 1 hour each. So you just read the textbooks, and my purpose is how we deal with different question asked in the exam, revenue audit exam, or subordinates accounts and audit and account service exam, which is conducted by I&AD department. So you just read the textbooks and give your valuable suggestion in this regard. What is the things need to be added here? Then I will act accordingly as per your suggestion. Your feedback is vital for me. Please feel free to give any response to the video, and your suggestion will augment my skill. Please view it and subscribe it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you.